Church and ministry business and invitation cards. Tiny but powerful tools for PR, outreach, information, and caring. This is a training video from Yvon Prehn. The power of business cards. No business person would be without them. They're used today in so many situations for introducing businesses to people, for introducing people to each other, for networking, connecting. I would imagine that all of you probably have a business card or two tucked away on your desk, on your refrigerator, to remind you of a connection you want to make. This is a great model for the church because we tend to forget that the Great Commission was given to everyone. Most of us think that the Great Commission, the job of going out and sharing our faith, of sharing the gospel and making disciples, that it's just for pastors, that they're the only ones that are supposed to do it, preferably on Sunday morning from the pulpit. But that isn't how Jesus gave it. He gave the Great Commission to everybody. It's all our job to do. But for most people, evangelism is really scary. They think it involves going up to a total stranger and saying something like, "Are you saved?" And then if the person responds negatively, then you launch into a very uncomfortable presentation. Well, most people just aren't going to do that. A personal invitation is so much more natural. Think of this situation. Imagine you're at the grocery store. The lady behind the counter, it's a little bit slow and you come up there. Maybe you've been in there a number of times before. And she says something like, "Boy, our world is scary. This week in the news, the earthquakes and fires and the crazy weather and the food recalls. I'm just afraid to go outside anymore." And you might look at her and say, our world is scary, but this Sunday, our pastor is doing a sermon on how to be at peace in an unpeaceful world. Why don't you attend? Now, chances are the person's going to say, I'd love to do that. You tell her where the church is and you leave. But if you don't give her some concrete information, chances are she'll get up on Sunday morning and she'll say to herself, "Now, where's that church at? And what time's it start?" And maybe she'll say, "Well, I hope that nice lady comes in again," but chances are she won't show up. But just think how different it would be if you actually handed her a little business card that was actually an invitation to your church. And like this one, where it has on it the times, what's going on, you have a map, you have a phone number, you have a website, and you can say, "Well, just here's this little card. Check us out ahead of time on the web. Here are the times that we meet. I'd love to see you there." Chances are the person will show up. Now, let's talk a little bit more on how to use these really effectively. Make them up for everyone in your church. The people attending your church are your satisfied customers. They want to tell their friends about it. They want to know a way to share. And so make them up for everybody and pass them out for everybody. Now, how you make them up, different styles work for different churches. Here are a couple that people gave me from my seminars. The only thing that these two have in common is that they're both blue on white paper. But they're very, very different. This one over here, a rather formal church, Park Hill Baptist. It's a fold-over one, very nicely done. They have a number of services. It actually has a gospel presentation on it. Just a marvelous card, a way for people to personalize it, to write down their own comments, that kind of thing. And then this is kind of a fun one. You can tell a much more casual church. On the outside, the little ch-ch. What's missing? And then you open it up. You are. And, it's just a little bit more fun and upbeat. Now, there isn't a right way or a wrong way or an in-between. The most important design factor is it should represent your church. If you have a logo, if you have different colors, whatever it is, make it look like your church. Also, these sorts of cards work out extremely well for individualized ministries. Here we have a couple of business cards for different singles ministries. And the thing, this is one that someone gave me in one of my seminars. This is one that my husband and I have used. You see, both of them actually summarize the different dates, what's going on. This one even has costs. Our stuff, we didn't really have any costs, so we just have the different times for lessons. We had movie nights, games and goodies, Sunday night meetings, all these sorts of things, map, website. All of that information is on the card, and these are wonderful. You give them out to the members of the groups, any specialized group, they can pass them on to friends. It's one of the most effective forms of PR and ministry marketing that you can create. You can also use them for sermon series. We did one up when we were working on 40 Days of Community. We actually gave these out to people ahead of time. We did up a website. We had them check things out, the information, background, small groups listing. Worked out really well. For a sermon series that you have going on, this is a really neat one that people were able to give to their friends. The Incredible Family, that's when that movie came out, and they did a sermon series on it. This was one we did on when the Chronicles of Narnia came out, the first movie, Making Believing Believable, and people passed it out to their friends. Just anything like that, little mini invitation, these can work out extremely well. And if people know you're going to be doing them on a regular basis, they'll look forward to them. You train people to get into the habit of giving them to their friends. Now, the most important thing on them, as I said earlier, you want to make the design reflect the personality of your church, but you want to really think about making it into a mini ministry brochure. Here's one that I did up, and there's also a little video on this website on exactly how to create a card like this, but you want to have all of the facts on it, not only very clearly what the ministry is, but when your meetings are, maybe your monthly time, various activities, all of the specifics, phone number, email, website, all of those kinds of things. Now, just one little ministry thing that I want to point out here. You see how I clearly put child care provided? Now, some of you might think, well, why is that important for a men's ministry? This is actually extremely important today. There are lots of single dads. There are also two career families where perhaps the gentleman has the primary child care responsibilities. And so you would be amazed how something like this, as part of your men's ministry, can significantly increase attendance of the gentleman in your church. So pack all this information in there. If we just had the front side, just, this is what's going on, you probably wouldn't get nearly as many people attending. Take the time to, on the back side of the card, put all of the information that people need to connect with your ministry, and your attendance rates will go up. On production, you can produce them in many ways. In-house with your in-house printers, inkjets, copiers, if you have a Riso digital duplicator, any of those kinds of things will work really well. Another thing that you can do, what some people in my seminars have told me, is they actually would produce full-size sheets with the basic information about the church, and they would actually give them out to their people that way. And they would take them home, and then they could run those sheets. They were the micro-perfed business cards through their own inkjet printer and personalize them for themselves. And that was kind of a fun way. Also, too, think about the online printers. If you want to make them a little bit fancier, etc. I've had really good luck, and so have a lot of people in my seminars, using Vista Print. Now, I warn you, once you sign up with them, you get email advertisements all the time, but they often, this is something that I just got recently, I copied and pasted it in here, they often send free offers, and they really are free. They're, of course, hoping that you'll buy other stuff. They charge you for the shipping. It's like a sample, but look at this, 250 business cards, free, and it really is, and their stuff's good. They get it done quickly. It really works out well. I had one lady in my seminar tell me that for a couple of years now, she'd just been doing the free offers from Vistaprint. And she says, we're a little church. I just do whatever comes up. And she says, it's been working out great for us. So give it a try. I've found it's very useful. So have many people in my seminars. A few additional tips. On the Microsoft.com website, there's lots of free templates, and I checked on it just today. They had a whole bunch of new ones. They're always putting up really neat things, both for Microsoft Word and Microsoft Publisher. Here's a couple of them. This was one of their templates that's off the site. I thought, wouldn't that be cute? You could personalize it maybe for a coffee ministry. They have really nice ones done, so check that out. They're free. You just download them. They're absolutely great. One other tool, I just love this. It's a little business card cutter. It's a little crank thing, and what this enables you to do is to use any kind of cardstock to create business cards. You don't have to have the microperf stuff. Any kind goes through it, and I literally use this all the time. The ones I showed you earlier about the Narnia thing and the stuff for our singles group, I don't buy the expensive microperf stuff. For little ministries, you just buy any kind of cardstock, run it through your inkjet, cut it up with this little machine, and you've got invitation cards. Works great. Now, I purchased mine at my local paper merchant. They had them there, and a lot of them carry them. If you can't find something locally, Paper Direct does sell this little machine, and it's right under $100. And it's great. You will just absolutely love it. It's a wonderful little tool. A few final encouragements. Business and invitation cards are really a way, once you create them, for you to equip the saints to do the work of the ministry. You want your people to reach out. You want them to share. You want them to invite. This gives them a tangible tool where they can do it. And don't look at them as just little things, because you never know what the Lord will do with little things. I'm sure that little boy, when he packed his lunch and went to see Jesus, those little loaves and fishes, he had no idea what the Lord would do with them when he turned them over to Jesus. But he did extraordinary things. He used them to feed 5,000. So create your cards, encourage your people, give them out, and pray that the Lord will use them to bring many people to himself.